Good evening to everyone. My name is Manda Faisal, and I'm your host today. I'm working with CashTelex as a technical support. I'm really grateful to see you here this day as we try to take this advantage of seeking this knowledge that is not found everywhere. I want to remind you that CashTelex is a system for the people, because it's the people that are controlling it. And when you talk about the CashTelex exchange, the first asset-backed exchange in the world, as we talk about value, because of the problems that are happening everywhere, and this concept of asset backing, it is the only way to go forward. Like, people no longer want to lose their sleep, because the markets today are very volatile. But it's not only the markets, but also as regards currency. You look at how currency is losing value. And this can be seen as we walk into the different markets. As you look at how much you used to buy sugar the past 7 years, and today, how much a kilogram of sugar costs, then it will show you where your currency is. But as we talked about the essence of cryptocurrency and why this innovation exists, I earlier introduced the concept where I said that cryptocurrencies were created to eliminate the printing of national currencies. As it is seen, for the past 13 years, from let me say it's about 15 years from the existence of Bitcoin, right? As we wait for the, okay, as we go forward, I'm going to be your presenter today. For those that have come in today, I really want to tell you that the reason as why we are here, as earlier stated, is to maximize our advantage in the market, in the prevailing or in the available markets. Because there are many markets, but again, not everyone is going to have tangible kind of products to go into the market. There are all problems. There are different problems within different markets. But again, we are looking at an alternative that can at least help us go onto a global level of business, because we've been doing businesses locally all along. And how we can transfer value from one place to another is one of the important aspects of the 21st century. Because with this super connectivity of devices and all these integrations you're seeing, that each and every system is trying to integrate, to communicate together. And the world is all about connectivity. And right now, we are talking about the CashTelex exchange. Let me first go here. We look at its background right here. Besides looking into the market, you can see right here, it is CashTelex assets-backed exchange. But as earlier we discussed about markets, we said that markets, or we said that cryptocurrency markets are global digital marketplaces where various cryptocurrencies are bought, sold, and traded, right? So we are creating a platform, but this platform is for all, you and me and everyone. But here, remember, as we discuss about these exchanges, there are good kind of things they bring in, the good aspects. As regards, we talked about the different, we forego different biases that have been into markets, whereby we look at religion, we look at gender, we look at creditworthiness, we look at the tribe, we look at the race, right? All of this that has been happening, that people actually, they might fail to trade with each other just because someone has a tribe, maybe someone doesn't like, or someone has he belongs to a religion they don't like, or someone just looks at you and say, I can't make with that person business because he's wearing like this, or he has a shabby hair. There are different things people look at while doing business. But again, now we look at the online concept, the digitization. But this is not all about digitization, but it is a new trend of doing business. Like right now, we are talking about a share. Like, how can a share be interpreted as being all round? Like, as regards trade, it is easier for you to trade it, to exchange it in a way like where we've been into markets. Like, for example, once I have, for example, onions, and I want to sell those onions, I have to look for a market where onions are being sold, or to people that really need onions. Not everyone needs onions, but because of that concept that, for example, I want to trade my onions, and not everybody wants those onions, I might end up losing money just because there is no availability of business. And now, as we look here, we are going to enter into the CashTelex exchange, where we want to understand, because exchanges, as we talk about these digital kind of exchanges, are online platforms that facilitate the buying, selling, and trading of cryptocurrencies. Let me first log into it. Then we try to talk more about this exchange, because as being pioneers of the CashTelex exchange, we need to have that advantage, because now we are preparing our mind. But again, this business is individual. Understanding to operate your account, it's personal. So I've entered into the CashTelex exchange. And here, as last time we discussed, we said that much of as you understand how the market works, it doesn't change. Only simple things change, right? For example, things that change in two markets are the features that exist on two different exchanges. But now for the CashTelex, since it is an asset-backed exchange, there are different features it is going to have as regards assets. But things where that bring in some kind of complications is where here we find maybe right here where we find the bids or cancels. That is where the differences are. But before we go into that, last time I introduced what we called an order book. And an order book, this is, once you talk about an order book, is a list of trades, right? that an exchange uses to record market interest in a specific token, right? Just as here you click onto any kind of market, right? I click, for example, right here we are into the Bitcoin market. We can look at that or understand that by looking here, right here, that we are into the Bitcoin market, and the Bitcoin market looks like this. But again, we can go into the Bitcoin CashTelex market, and we see right here. Let us click on to, for example, CashTelex UGX right here. Let us go on to this. We see. So this interface of the order book remains the same, right? You can see here CashTelex stroke UGX. But as we want to interpret the trading pairs, because these are markets, each of what you see here, these pairs are all markets. Remember, within these markets, different currencies are being paired to be traded. That's why down here, you're going to see that they will provide you options where you're going to buy and where you're going to sell. But we need to understand as regards, because right now, let us start with simply we are going to do one example to make this simpler in a way how we can understand. As I've said that, I want us to look at this because you're looking at this and you're looking at this. This is what we call the sell orders and the buy orders. And once you look at this order book, and an order book is entitled to have 3 parts, as we said within the previous class, where we talked about the buy orders, the sell orders, and then the order history. Those are the 3 parts of the order book. Once you understand that each and every market has to have that, on every exchange that you're going to meet, whether it is a stock market or it is a cryptocurrency market, any market, a forex exchange market, it has to have those 3 interfaces: the sell orders, the buy orders, and then the order history. But again, it has more a lot it means, because as we talk about that down here, you're going to see that there is the way where you're being provided with the buy. For example, here they are going to tell you buy CTLX, sell CTLX. But I would like you to understand in a way how you look at this pair right here, where we are saying CashTelex stroke UGX, right? This means that because these are 2 currencies where we are looking at CashTelex being a cryptocurrency and in form of a share, but again it is being stroked with Uganda Syringe or UGX, and this means that the price of Uganda Syringe is quoted in terms of CashTelex. That's why you're seeing here. This price is for Uganda Syringe. It is quoted in terms of CashTelex, which means that as we come into trading pairs, it means that the first currency in the pair right here, the first currency in the pair being CTLX, is the one you want to buy, right? You want to buy CashTelex. And then the second one is what you are using to purchase, right? As you go down here, for example, if at all I have Uganda Syringe here, that means that I can use it to purchase CashTelex, right? I can use it to purchase CashTelex. This is what it means. And that's why, but once I want to sell That means that, this means that here, it means that once I want to sell an amount of CashTelex, for example, I can say I want to sell 100 CashTelex, for example, right here, amount. I can say I want to take 100 CashTelex, or 1,000 CashTelex. Let us take 100. But this 100, I can commit it at, for example, each CashTelex I'm going to sell it at 50,000, right? 50,000, 50, right? That is it, 50,000. Then I say sell. You can look at here the sell orders. You can look here and you see what happens. My order is going to be placed right here. And then down here, you're going to see that it is going to be brought as an ask what? An ask price. And what does this mean? An ask price refers to the lowest price that the owner of the token is willing to sell it. This means that I'm willing to sell my token at this much, but there are those that are willing to sell their currency at this amount of money within the market. But yet we know that this market is not, for now, it's not working, right? Because of the integration that you cannot buy with Uganda Cedis. And the only active market is the BTC CashTelex CTLX stroke BTC pair. But here, the thing I want us to understand, how we place the bid, because we have the bid right here, and the bid prices, it refers to the highest that a trader is willing to pay for a certain kind of token, right? So someone brings this money, he bids, he says, I have this amount. I can buy your token at this amount. That's why you're seeing right here. Someone brings here. This is the bid price. But as long as this kind of token is not compatible, or the price is not compatible with the sell price, right? It is not corresponding, right? It cannot happen. Like, it has to be a corresponding order. The buy price and the sell price corresponding to the same amount. Then that means that we can have a trade can happen, or a trade can be executed, right? That means that the buyer's bought and the seller has got the money for his token. And this happens automatically, that once a token is sold, your money goes back. For example, if at all this transaction happens right here, and maybe I've sold, you're going to see that this amount of token is being taken by someone that has bought it, and then I remain, Uganda Cedis comes automatically within my wallet. I can automatically see it here as long as the trade has been executed. I think we are following. Are we following? Hello, are we following? Are we together?
Yes, we are together.
Okay.
We are here, sir.
Okay, thank you. So I'm talking about this kind of order book. And once you understand the order book is always the same, right? Let me try to cancel this ask prices are put. Okay, then you can see that it is being removed and it is back, right? It is successful, it is back. But now let us go back to the market. Let us demonstrate into the market where which is active right today, which we normally use, which is the CashTelex Bitcoin kind of market. Within this market, You can see it is the same. We have the order book, which is where we see the sell order, the sell orders, and then the buy orders. But again, understanding the buy orders, you need to know that these two sides of these are just two sides of a transaction, right? It is all about the perspective of the trader, that one party wants to buy an asset and the other party wants to sell the same asset, right? But here we are brought in together. Someone comes in with their asset, for example, these ones up here, they're the ones that have their assets. For example, I can be here and I say, I have, for example, I want to sell, for example, let me say, 30 CTLX at an amount. Let me take this amount. Let me take this 0.0000 something 59 bitcoins right here, and I say I want to sell maybe, let me say 60, so that it becomes 160. I say sell. As I place my order and it is successful, you're going to see that it is brought here amongst the sell orders. And here you can understand what comes into your mind. It is that a sell order is just a request made by a trader who already owns the asset and wants to sell it. For example, I have had my asset and I'm willing to sell it. I'm willing to put it onto the market. That's why I put the market this amount of 60. But because there were people that have had some kind of assets being or orders being placed, we were merged to be onto the same kind of price. So within this, it means that the sell order is a request made by a trader who already owns an asset and wants to sell it. So if at all I want to sell it, if at all the asset is mine, I have an obligation to set any price I want. I can say, for example, I want to sell, for example, to CashTelex. I can put here, I say, because, and here you can look at the difference of this exchange in a way how it is being designed, that once you are selling CashTelex, there is no limitation at what kind of price you can sell it, because it is a share. But for example, once you visit exchanges like KuCoin, OK, or Binance, you're going to say that much of once you are interacting with the market, you're going to see that once you are setting prices, there will be limitations where they're going to tell you that this is a lot. Like you cannot place your this amount with, or you cannot attach this price to this kind of token. And there is a limit to that. But here I can come into this market and I say, price I want to sell, for example, price I'm going to take, or I'm selling, a price is going to be 1 Bitcoin per CTLX, and I'm going to sell maybe 20 CTLX, 20 CTLX. Being that 1 CTLX is going to be sold at 1 BTC, the market is okay. I can say sell. You see? My order is going to be accepted, though you may not see it, for example, right here. You may not see it, but it is already registered amongst those transactions onto the system. But again, because this is like a body that is ongoing, right? It is a continuous kind of ledger where everyone can post their transactions or their orders and wait to be executed. So right here, you can see that I have set here my ask price, and I said earlier that the ask price is the lowest price that the owner of the token is willing to sell it. That means that no matter these people are selling at this price, but my ask price or my lowest price, I want to sell my token, can be 1 Bitcoin. And here they will execute it and tell you that, okay, your amount, once your CTLX are being bought, you're going to have 20 Bitcoin. And it's okay. Once it is bought or once the transaction is executed, that means that there are correspondences or there is a corresponding, there are corresponding prices of the sell and the buy, or there are compatible prices of the sell and the buy. That means that once someone comes here, for example, there comes a scenario where a trader places a buy order and another trader places a compatible sell order, right? Or a lower price, a trader or a trade occurs, right? And the asset is transferred from the seller to the buyer. That means that once a transaction happens where there is correspondence or there is compatibility of prices, that means that the buy order and the sell order is compatible. That means that a transaction happened. And that means that the seller gets his share and the buyer gets his what? His token. That's how the market works. So by understanding the order book and how different markets work, like how can I buy, how can I sell, and why do I buy a certain kind of asset, right? And that's why we go on to have white papers. Let me try to cancel these orders. Okay. So these are all markets. But remember, as you look at these markets, you can see that it is a choice. You have different choices. Every day you can wake up to trade into a different kind of market. I wake up, I want to trade into BTC stroke Kenyan Shilling, as long as it is available. But again, what you have to understand, regardless of these markets are different. You may find that the prices are not corresponding, much as you're buying the same kind of token, right? Let me try to persuade into this. Okay. Okay, thank you. Okay, I'm following right. I can't hear the sound. Is it okay? You can't hear? Are we okay now? I've seen a message where someone is saying they are not hearing. Hello? Are we together?
We are together.
Okay, we are together. Thank you very much. I'm saying, however, for example,
We're hearing you very well.
Okay, thank you. Thank you. However much we have these different markets, for example, let us take these first 3 markets. We have BTC stroke Kenyan Shilling, BTC stroke Nigerian Naira, BTC stroke UGX, BTC, all of those markets, right? Those are different markets, but you may find that those markets are different in terms of prices or pricing as regards the different commodities or the different kind of assets that are being listed there. You find that for BTC, it might be expensive, or for example, for BTC stroke Kenyan Shilling, it is more expensive than the BTC stroke Uganda Shilling. And that is what happens into the market. So different kind of markets behave or can have different kind of prices depending how the market how the market is moving, or how people are demanding that a certain kind of asset or that kind of currency that day or within that period of time. So there is no worry to look at those markets where you find that there are differences. Differences have to be there. It happens everywhere, no matter in different kind of, even within usual markets. For example, those ordinary markets, you may find that in a different market, for example, a commodity, for example, let me take sugar. Once sugar is sold at $2, right? You may find that there is somewhere where it is sold at maybe $1 or $2.01. That kind of difference, it happens within different markets. And this is why we say that people need to understand the markets so that they can learn and seek that advantage within those markets, because you need knowledge to understand how these markets work, where there is the difference, what is the change. That's why traders look at those differences, then they go on to have that advantage of understanding that market, and then they make money, of course. But again, it is all about understanding the market, and then they create they create that difference, and then they get the advantage out of that knowledge they have identified within the market. So as we understand these three kind of parts of an order book, being the sell order, the buy order, and then the order history, right here. The order history is where you can see market trades, how many people, where listings are being done, like as people buy, every transaction that happens goes to the market trades. But again, they created for you on there is a provision where you can look at where your own tokens that you've been buying are being listed, and you can be seeing them here, right? So you need to understand that the market can be understood by everyone. However, we have tendencies, and that's why once we come to attain this knowledge, we are fighting more of what we call greed and fear. Many people waste much of their time not buying just because they have fear. They have fear that maybe it might not work out. But already people have seen that everything is moving on. Tomorrow it can be a different story. And much of these things, as we look at these assets, there is provision for what we call white papers, where you read the approval. For me, I call it where you understand the science behind a certain kind of currency and what kind of problems it solves. And right now here we are looking at how 1 million families can use this money-making machine to create an income. It's no longer talking about wealth creation, but how can people actualize wealth? Because they have money, they've invested it, but this system can make for them money through their investment. They have bought certain kind of assets, but it is all about time and how they have understood the concept. Many people, because of not understanding, you're going to find them that they are going to sell earlier. And it happens. Many people that start with the project, at the same time, you find them crying. For those that started with Bitcoin, we saw many people sold when Bitcoin was around $1 because they had bought it at 0.0, like $0.08. And $0.08, for one to have about, for example, let me say 10,000 Bitcoin at $1, they had made money. They looked at, they had made a lot of money and they need to cash out. This is where the problem comes in. Now, CashTelex has created for you a platform where you can keep your asset within the exchange and then you make money, right? It's no longer getting out of, for example, I've been a trader for some years, and my experience comes into how we understand these assets and where we have found these volatility within these markets. That markets tend to fall, and you actually have that fear of entering the market. But again, for those that go with technical analysis, looking at the charts, they can always identify they can find positions when they can enter, because the market can show when you can enter and when you can maybe get out. However, you may not know. I'm seeing the hand. Can you please wait? Abdul Qadir, can you please wait? Do you have any problem? Abdul Qadir, do you have any problem? Okay, thank you very much. So I'm saying, when we understand these three features, or these three parts of the market, this is an exchange. But we said earlier that an exchange is just a platform, an online platform, and CashTelex has created for you an online platform. This online platform for the Africans to bring their assets, because few of the Africans have had gold, and the poorest cannot even afford gold. But now, as you own CashTelex, a portion of CashTelex, someone is going to have CashTelex onto their digital platforms, maybe within their wallets. But again, they own an amount of gold that is somewhere, right? So this is an important kind of exchange for the people, especially for those that have known it today, to take advantage of buying more of the CTLX so that they can have that maximum advantage. For you to have time to witness this, it is a chance for everyone to understand where the world is going and what the future is to be. The future is all about the connectivity of devices and how our children can come into these markets, forge life, because we've seen those markets, ordinary markets, are no longer places where to stay because of the different problems that are there, the more taxation. And let me first read this. I'm hosting you, please. Oh, okay. Okay, let's go forward. So those are different markets, but we've seen how really they work. Now, today I want us we shall be coming on to this kind of market as we've demonstrated it, or the order book, because it is a part that we are continuously going to be learning. As we learn how it works, how we take orders, when orders are being executed. But as you understand that there has to be corresponding prices or compatible prices from the buyer and the seller, the one that is selling and the one that is buying. Once prices correspond, then a transaction happens. Even though that's for example, there is an instance where you can find that a trade is being placed, or a trader places a sell order, and another trader places a compatible buy order, or of the same, or at the same, or a high price. A trade occurs, and the asset is transferred from the seller to the buyer. How does that happen? When a sell order, this sell order, for example, this sell order, this is the sell order, as we are taking some kind of assumptions for compatibility, where we can see scenarios where transactions are compatible. Like, for example, we are talking about a scenario where a sell order and another and a person or a trader places a sell order and another trader places a compatible buy order. This means that either someone is going to bring in a sell order, a buy order, which is of the same amount of BTC at either at 0.00025. As it corresponds, that means that a transaction is going to happen or execution is going to happen. And an asset is transferred from the seller to the buyer. And that is automatic. Some people ask, now, where does it go? How can I see it? How can I do this, right? The only way to understand this is when you do it practically. How does that happen? Like once I put, for example, an amount of, let me put here, for example, this amount at this amount, I want to put 61 to make it full. Okay, 61. For example, I say sell. This is the sell order. But this is an ask price, where I said that the lowest price, the lowest price that an owner is willing to sell their token. So I'm willing to sell my token at this price, but there is no way someone can buy this token without the corresponding amount or the buyer having the corresponding amount of this or of this. Once the corresponding amount comes or a compatible amount or a price corresponds, that means a transaction happens. And that means that the buyer gets his asset and then the seller gets his money. So that's how we identify trades within the market, within different scenarios. But as you do it practically, then that means that you can understand very well how this can be done. And that is the better way I can demonstrate that. So maybe next time, once I have BTC, I'll try to demonstrate that practically.
Thank you, sir.
Okay. For now, let us stop there. I'm hearing someone talking.
Your host.
Okay.
Thank you,
okay.
brother.
Thank you very much
for that elaborative training. Navigating our CTLX exchange. Like we agreed that this training is mainly targeting those who can use the exchange, trade using CashTelex exchange. And then those who are able also to buy more CTLX to add on their account by themselves. It is from this training from our experts to train you as the owners of CashTelex, as the users of CashTelex, and as well as the people participating in this training. So allow me to thank our trainer, Faisal Mawanda, for that powerful training. Okay, thank you so much, everyone. Please, good night, good morning, good afternoon. Bye-bye.